What if I told you the Amish can keep food fresh for months, even years, without a single can, fridge, or freezer? Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's not, and here's why it matters. When grocery shelves go empty or prices skyrocket, these forgotten Amish methods could save your pantry and your pocket. Stick around because today you're about to learn 20 food-preserving secrets that completely beat canned goods. Hey everyone, welcome back to OUE Channel. I've spent weeks digging into old Amish journals, off-grid blogs, and even talking to homesteaders who still live this way. And what I found was honestly shocking. The Amish don't just store food, they've perfected a system that's cheaper, safer, and tastier than anything in a tin can. In this video, I'm going to reveal 20 little-known preservation secrets from lime-sealed eggs to smoke-dried meat and show you why these old tricks still outperform modern tech. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Now, before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be featuring a few in the next video. 1. Underground root cellars. The Amish have mastered the art of using nature to do what machines do today. One of their oldest and smartest tricks is the underground root cellar. It's like having a natural refrigerator right beneath their homes. These cellars are dug several feet deep into the earth, where the temperature stays steady year-round, cool in the summer, and above freezing in the winter. The soil acts like insulation, protecting food from heat, cold, and moisture changes. Inside these root cellars, Amish families store potatoes, apples, onions, carrots, beets, and even jars of preserved foods. The air is cool and slightly damp, just enough to keep vegetables firm and fresh without drying out. No mold, no freezing, and no electricity needed. Wooden shelves, stone walls, and packed dirt floors help control humidity. Some even add small vents or clay pipes to let air flow slowly through the space, keeping everything balanced. When you step inside one, it feels like time has stopped. Rows of colorful produce rest quietly, waiting for the next meal. Amish families visit their cellars daily, bringing up just what they need. It's a quiet rhythm that connects them to the seasons and the land. Even when snow covers the fields, the cellar is alive with the smell of earth and stored harvest. It's proof that with a little knowledge and hard work, nature provides everything you need to preserve food the old-fashioned way: fresh, simple, and reliable. 2. Cold stream cooling. Long before electric refrigerators, the Amish found a clever way to keep their food cold by using running water. Many Amish farms are built near small creeks or streams, and they use that natural flow to create what's often called a spring house. It's a small wooden or stone building built right beside or over the water. Inside, they place milk, butter, cheese, and even jars of preserved vegetables. The constant stream of cool water flows under or around the shelves, keeping everything chilled without ice or power. This method works because spring water stays around 50 degrees Fahrenheit all year round. That's cold enough to slow spoilage and keep dairy fresh for days. The Amish often set crocks or metal pails right in the water so the current can surround them completely. The sound of the flowing stream and the smell of cool air make the place feel calm and pure. What's amazing is how simple it all is. No wires, no noise, just nature doing the job perfectly. Even in the hottest summer days, the spring house stays cool and steady. Some families still rely on this method today, proving that you don't need modern technology to live comfortably. It's a reminder of how closely the Amish work with the land, using what's already there. Cold stream cooling isn't just smart, it's a peaceful blend of ingenuity and simplicity that keeps their food fresh and their connection to nature strong. Or sawdust on top of the clay. It adds insulation and makes it easier to clean. Others pour a bit of water over the floor on especially hot days to help the air stay moist and cool. There's no need for gadgets or power, just a deep understanding of how the earth works. This simple floor design shows how the Amish mix practicality with patience. It's not fancy, but it works year after year. The secret lies right beneath their feet. using the ground itself to guard their harvest and keep their food as fresh as the day it was picked. 4. Sand and ash storage. The Amish have a genius way of keeping root vegetables fresh for months, and it doesn't involve plastic bags or coolers. They use something simple: sand and wood ash. This old-fashioned storage method protects vegetables like carrots, beets, turnips, and parsnips through the long winter months. Inside root cellars or wooden crates, they carefully layer dry sand or sifted ash between the vegetables. Each one is buried separately, so no two touch. This stops moisture from spreading and keeps mold, bugs, and decay away. The sand keeps the air cool and damp enough to prevent drying out, while the ash acts like a natural barrier against pests. Both materials are easy to find and completely natural, a perfect match for Amish simplicity. Some families use fine river sand, while others prefer ash from their wood stoves, cleaned and cooled first. It's amazing how this humble trick can make vegetables last well into spring, tasting as crisp as the day they were picked. You can imagine the sight: wooden boxes lined neatly in the cellar, filled with layers of golden sand and colorful vegetables tucked inside. No hum of a fridge, no plastic wrap, just the quiet work of nature. It's slow living at its best, and it works every time. The Amish know that preservation isn't about high-tech equipment, it's about patience, knowledge, and trusting the simplest tools the earth provides. 5. Homemade sauerkraut. Among the Amish, sauerkraut isn't just food, it's a preservation miracle passed down through generations. This simple mix of cabbage and salt can last for months without refrigeration, and it gets even better with time. The process starts right after harvest. Fresh, firm heads of cabbage are shredded finely, layered in large crocks, and sprinkled with coarse salt. The salt draws out the natural juices, creating a salty brine. Then the Amish press it down with a wooden pounder or their hands until every piece is covered. Once sealed and stored in a cool spot, nature takes over. Over the next few weeks, friendly bacteria begin to ferment the cabbage, turning it sour, crunchy, and full of healthy probiotics. No vinegar, no chemicals, just patience and the magic of fermentation. The result is a food that stays safe and flavorful all winter long. In Amish kitchens, you'll often see these crocks lined up along a cellar wall, bubbling quietly in the early stages of fermentation. Families taste a bit now and then to check the flavor. When it's ready, they seal it and enjoy it with hearty meals of potatoes, sausage, or bread. This age-old method shows how the Amish blend science and simplicity. They trust natural bacteria more than machines, and it pays off. Homemade sauerkraut is proof that real preservation doesn't come from a factory. It comes from tradition, time, and a deep respect for nature's rhythm. 6. Mixed vegetable ferments. Chow chow. If you've ever visited an Amish market, you've probably seen colorful jars filled with bright vegetables swimming in tangy brine. That's chow chow, a traditional Amish mixed vegetable ferment that's both delicious and incredibly long-lasting. It's more than just a relish, it's a preservation masterpiece. The process starts with whatever the garden gives: cabbage, green beans, peppers, corn, onions, even cauliflower. Nothing goes to waste. The Amish chop everything into small pieces and layer it in large crocks with salt, vinegar, and a touch of sugar or spice. As the days pass, the mixture ferments slightly, creating a sweet and sour flavor that stays fresh for months. In Amish kitchens, you'll often see these crocks lined up along a cellar wall, bubbling quietly in the early stages of fermentation. Families taste a bit now and then to check the flavor. When it's ready, they seal it and enjoy it with hearty meals of potatoes, sausage, or bread. This age-old method shows how the Amish blend science and simplicity. They trust natural bacteria more than machines, and it pays off. Homemade sauerkraut is proof that real preservation doesn't come from a factory, it comes from tradition, time, and a deep respect for nature's rhythm. Eye-catching and practical preservation secrets. These bright purple eggs aren't just pretty, they are packed with flavor and can last for weeks without spoiling. It all begins with fresh eggs, boiled and peeled. Meanwhile, beets are cooked down with vinegar, sugar, salt, and a few warm spices like cloves or cinnamon. Once the beets release their deep red juice, the Amish pour this tangy, sweet brine over the eggs in glass jars. After a few days, the color seeps through, turning the eggs a stunning shade of pinkish red all the way to the yolk. The longer they sit, the deeper the flavor. The vinegar acts as a natural preservative, keeping bacteria away while adding that mouth-watering sour bite. No fridge, no chemicals, just an old-fashioned mix of vinegar and patience doing all the work. You'll often find a jar of these eggs sitting on an Amish kitchen shelf or brought to community meals. They're a bright reminder that preservation doesn't have to be boring. Every bite has that perfect blend of earthy beet, gentle spice, and zesty tang. This simple recipe shows how the Amish turn everyday ingredients into long-lasting treasures. A few beets, some vinegar, and fresh eggs. That's all it takes. It's proof that even the most colorful traditions can also be the most practical. 8. Fermented root vegetables. When the Amish harvest their gardens in the fall, they don't rush to eat everything fresh or can it right away. Instead, they use one of their most trusted techniques, fermenting root vegetables. Carrots, turnips, radishes, and even small pieces of cabbage go into this simple but powerful preservation method. The process is easy and doesn't need heat, machines, or electricity. The Amish slice the vegetables, pack them tightly into stone crocks or glass jars, and cover them with a salty brine made from just water and coarse salt. Over the next few days, tiny bubbles start to appear as natural bacteria begin their work. These good bacteria turn the vegetable slightly sour while locking in vitamins and minerals. The salt keeps away harmful microbes, so the food stays safe and flavorful for months. The result is crisp, tangy, and full of life, perfect to serve alongside bread, stews, or meat dishes during the cold season. Fermenting isn't just about preserving food, it's about improving it. The Amish know that this process boosts nutrition and makes digestion easier. They've been doing it long before probiotics became a health trend. Walk into an Amish cellar and you'll see rows of jars filled with colorful roots, each one proof that time and nature can do the job better than any factory. It's a quiet, bubbling reminder that patience and simplicity still create the best flavor and the longest-lasting food. 9. Fruit butters. The Amish have a sweet way to preserve fruits without using tons of sugar or store-bought pectin. They make fruit butters. These thick, rich spreads are cooked low and slow until the natural sweetness deepens and the flavor becomes pure and comforting. Apples, pears, peaches, and even pumpkins are popular choices. The process starts by peeling and slicing the fruit, then simmering it for hours in a heavy pot or copper kettle. The Amish stir constantly with a long wooden spoon, letting the mixture cook down until it turns smooth, dark, and creamy. Instead of adding lots of sugar, they rely on time and gentle heat to bring out the natural sugars. A touch of cinnamon or cloves gives it that warm, homemade taste. Once ready, the butter is poured into clean jars and sealed tightly. Without refrigeration, it keeps beautifully in cool cellars for months. It's spread on bread, stirred into oatmeal, or used as a sweet topping for pancakes. A simple treat that lasts all winter. Fruit butter is more than a recipe. It's a tradition. You can almost imagine an Amish kitchen filled with the smell of apples slowly cooking over the fire while family members take turns stirring the pot. Every jar holds a little piece of that moment, the warmth, patience, and gratitude for nature's gifts. It's preservation done the old way, where flavor and simplicity always come first. 10. Sun-drying fruits. The Amish have turned sunlight into one of their most dependable food preservation tools. When the summer harvest is at its peak, they use the warm, dry air to remove moisture from fruits, a natural way to make them last for months. Apples, peaches, plums, and berries are sliced thin, then spread out on clean wooden trays or mesh screens. The trays are placed in sunny spots with a light breeze, often covered with a thin layer of cheesecloth to keep bugs away. The key is patience. Over several days, the fruit slowly dries, becoming chewy, sweet, and concentrated in flavor. There's no rush, no machine humming in the background, just the quiet rhythm of nature doing its work. When the slices reach that perfect leathery texture, the Amish pack them into glass jars or cloth bags and store them in cool, dry places. Sun-dried fruits aren't just convenient, they're full of natural energy and vitamins. Amish children often snack on them during winter, while adults add them to bread, porridge, or desserts. It's a healthy, portable food that never spoils easily and tastes like summer, even in the coldest months. This simple process shows how deeply the Amish trust the elements. They don't need dehydrators or chemicals, only sunshine, air, and time. Each dried apple slice or plum is a small reminder that when you work with nature, not against it, you can preserve life's sweetness the simple, lasting way. 11. Lacto-fermentation. The Amish mastered a way to preserve vegetables that not only keeps them fresh, but actually makes them healthier. It's called lacto-fermentation. This age-old method uses just salt, water, and time to naturally preserve food. No electricity, no canning, no store-bought preservatives. Here's how it works. The Amish pack vegetables like cabbage, cucumbers, carrots, or green beans into glass jars or stone crocks. They cover them with a saltwater brine and let nature take over. Over the next few days, natural bacteria, the good kind, start turning the sugars in the vegetables into lactic acid. That acid acts as a natural preservative, giving the veggies a tangy, crisp taste while keeping them safe to eat for months. In Amish homes, you'll often see rows of crocks bubbling quietly in a cool corner. There's no need for refrigeration, just patience and trust in the process. The result? Delicious, probiotic-rich foods like sauerkraut, pickled beans, and fermented carrots that stay fresh all winter long. The Amish love this method because it turns simple garden produce into superfoods. Lacto-fermented vegetables help with digestion, boost the immune system, and store beautifully without losing nutrients. It's a living preservation method, one that connects each jar of food to the rhythm of the seasons and the wisdom of generations before. It's proof that the Amish way isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving naturally, one jar at a time. 12. Smoking meats. For the Amish, smoking meat isn't just about flavor, it's about survival through long winters. Before freezers and electric refrigerators, they turned to smokehouses to keep their meat safe and tasty for months. This old-world craft turned simple cuts of pork, beef, or venison into smoky, shelf-stable treasures. The process begins right after butchering season, usually in the cold months. The Amish rub the meat with a mix of salt, sugar, and sometimes a bit of molasses to draw out moisture. Then it's hung inside a wooden smokehouse where slow-burning hardwoods like hickory, apple, or oak fill the air with thick, fragrant smoke. The smoke seeps deep into the meat, drying it out and coating it with natural preservatives. Depending on the weather and the cut, smoking can last for several days or even weeks. The result? Bacon that never needs a fridge. Hams that stay good all winter. Jerky so tough and flavorful, it can travel for weeks without spoiling. The beauty of this method lies in its simplicity. There's no rush, no modern shortcuts, just wood, fire, and time. Amish families often gather around the smokehouse, talking and working together as the smell of smoked meat drifts through the cold air. Each slice carries that deep, rustic flavor, a reminder of patience, hard work, and the wisdom of doing things the natural way. It's preservation that stood the test of time, smoky, savory, and built to last. 13. Vinegar pickling. When the harvest overflows, the Amish turn to one of their oldest and most reliable preservation secrets, vinegar pickling. This simple method transforms fresh vegetables into tangy, long-lasting treats that brighten any winter meal. It's a blend of art, patience, and practicality that's been passed down for generations. In Amish kitchens, you'll often find big glass jars filled with colorful layers of cucumbers, beets, cauliflower, onions, and peppers. The process begins by boiling a mixture of vinegar, water, salt, and a bit of sugar, sometimes flavored with mustard seeds, dill, or garlic. Once the brine is ready, the vegetables are packed tightly into sterilized jars, then poured over with the hot vinegar solution. As the jars cool, a little magic happens. The acid from the vinegar creates an environment where harmful bacteria can't survive. The result is food that stays safe, crunchy, and flavorful for months without refrigeration. Pickled vegetables become the perfect side dish for hearty Amish meals, adding a sharp, refreshing taste to balance out heavy breads and meats. What's truly amazing is how versatile this method is. From sweet pickled beets to fiery pepper rings, every Amish family has its own special recipe. Some even pickle eggs or green tomatoes, wasting nothing from the harvest. It's a preservation method that proves simple ingredients can do incredible things. No cans, no machines, just nature, vinegar, and a touch of Amish know-how keeping the pantry stocked and the flavors alive. 14. Curing with salt. Before there were fridges or freezers, the Amish had a simple but powerful secret: salt curing. This age-old method uses nothing more than salt, patience, and time to preserve meat for months, even through the harshest winters. It's one of the purest forms of food preservation, and it's still used in Amish communities today. The process starts after butchering season, when fresh cuts of pork or beef are rubbed generously with coarse salt. The salt draws out moisture, the very thing bacteria need to grow, leaving the meat firm, dry, and safe to store. Some Amish families add a bit of brown sugar or pepper for flavor, then layer the meat in wooden barrels or stone crocks to let it cure for several weeks. Over time, the salt penetrates deep into the meat, locking in flavor and protecting it from spoilage. Once the curing is complete, the meat is hung in cool, dry cellars or smokehouses. No need for electricity or plastic packaging, just good, natural preservation. The result is meat that's rich, savory, and full of old-world character. Ham, bacon, and salt pork become pantry staples that last through winter without losing taste or texture. And when the family sits down to eat, each bite tells the story of self-reliance and patience. For the Amish, curing with salt isn't just a method, it's a tradition that connects generations. It's proof that with a little salt and a lot of wisdom, you can make food last longer than any canned good ever could. 15. Making hard cheese. When the Amish want milk to last far beyond its fresh shelf life, they turn it into something incredible: hard cheese. This isn't just about flavor, it's about survival and smart preservation. Cheese making is one of the most time-honored skills in Amish life, turning gallons of fresh milk into rich, long-lasting food that can keep for months without refrigeration. The process begins early in the morning with fresh milk straight from the cow. It's gently warmed and mixed with natural rennet to separate the curds from the whey. Once the curds form, they're cut, stirred, and pressed to remove excess moisture. Then comes the crucial step, salting and aging. The cheese wheels are rubbed with salt or soaked in brine to protect them from bacteria, then left to age in cool cellars or wooden shelves, sometimes for months, sometimes even years. During that time, the flavor deepens, the texture hardens, and the cheese becomes beautifully shelf-stable. No electricity, no plastic wrap, just time, air, and skill. Hard cheeses like cheddar, Colby, or farmhouse varieties often become a winter essential in Amish homes. They're used for hearty soups, sandwiches, and baked dishes when fresh dairy isn't available. Every wheel tells the story of simplicity and patience, a slow craft perfected through generations. The Amish know that good things don't need modern shortcuts, just careful hands, clean tools, and the quiet art of letting nature work its magic. 16. Storing dry beans and grains. The Amish understand one powerful truth. When you store dry foods right, they can last for years. That's why beans, lentils, cornmeal, oats, and wheat are among their most trusted pantry staples. No electricity, no fancy containers, just pure, practical wisdom. After harvest, the Amish clean and thoroughly dry their grains and beans under the sun. Once completely moisture-free, they store them in airtight containers made of glass, metal, or heavy-duty crocks. The goal is simple: keep out air, light, and bugs. Some even seal their containers with a layer of wax or cloth tied tightly with string. Stored in cool, dark cellars, these foods can last season after season. What's special is how versatile these dry goods are. Beans and lentils become protein-packed soups and stews during winter. Cornmeal turns into hearty breads and mush. Oats and wheat are ground fresh into flour when needed, meaning nothing goes stale or wasted. Amish families often rotate their dry storage regularly, using the oldest stock first and replacing it with the latest harvest. This keeps their food supply fresh and reliable all year. It's a system that doesn't rely on grocery stores or power grids, just smart preparation and self-reliance. Every sealed jar or barrel represents security, foresight, and gratitude for the harvest. The Amish way proves that when stored with care, simple foods can be the strongest foundation for survival and comfort through any season. 17. Rendering and storing lard. In Amish communities, nothing from a butchered animal goes to waste, not even the fat. Instead of tossing it, they turn it into one of the most valuable and long-lasting foods imaginable: lard. This old-fashioned fat is a kitchen essential that stores beautifully without refrigeration and adds incredible flavor to homemade breads, pies, and fried foods. The process begins right after butchering, when fresh pork fat is slowly melted down in a heavy pot or iron kettle. The Amish call this rendering. It's done over a gentle fire for hours as the fat slowly turns into a clear, golden liquid. Once it's fully melted, it's carefully strained to remove any solids, then poured into glass jars or metal tins. As it cools, it solidifies into smooth, creamy lard that can last for months, even years, if kept in a cool cellar. Lard isn't just a cooking fat for the Amish, it's a vital preservation tool. They use it to seal the tops of meat jars or cover pâtés, keeping air and bacteria out. It's also used in soap making, candles, and even healing balms, a perfect example of old-world resourcefulness. In a world obsessed with refrigeration, the Amish prove you don't need modern tech to make food last. Their secret lies in knowing how to use what nature provides, and lard, humble as it seems, might just be one of the most powerful preservation secrets of them all. 18. Storing eggs in lime water. The Amish have a clever way to keep fresh eggs long after the hens stop laying. They store them in lime water. It's a nearly forgotten preservation trick that can keep eggs fresh for up to a year without refrigeration. Sounds unbelievable, but it works beautifully, and it's all natural. Here's how it's done. The Amish mix pickling lime, a food-grade form of calcium hydroxide, with clean water to create a milky solution. Fresh, unwashed eggs, laid within the last day or two, are gently placed into large stone crocks or glass jars filled with this lime water. The key is not to wash off the natural protective layer on the eggshell, known as the bloom. This coating, combined with the lime, seals out air and bacteria. The eggs sit submerged in a cool, dark cellar. Months later, when fresh eggs are scarce, they can pull one out, crack it open, and it looks and tastes just as fresh as the day it was laid. This simple trick helps Amish families stay self-sufficient through the winter when chickens naturally slow down. There's no need for refrigeration, freezing, or powdering, just water, lime, and patience. It's another example of the Amish using science and simplicity hand in hand. While the modern world relies on cold storage and chemicals, the Amish rely on nature's own chemistry, proving that old ways can still beat modern methods when it comes to lasting freshness. 19. Preserving in honey or syrup. The Amish know that sweetness can do more than please the tongue. It can preserve food naturally. Long before store-bought jams or canned fruit, they used honey and homemade syrup to keep fruits, nuts, and even herbs fresh for months. This method not only locks in flavor, but also prevents spoilage thanks to the powerful preserving properties of natural sugar. Here's how it works. Honey and thick syrups create an environment where bacteria simply can't grow. Amish families pour these golden liquids over fresh berries, apple slices, nuts, or medicinal herbs, sealing them inside glass jars. Over time, the honey absorbs the moisture and flavor of whatever's inside, turning into a rich, infused treat that lasts all year. Sometimes they use maple syrup instead, another Amish staple harvested straight from their sugar maples each spring. Peaches, pears, or even ginger can be stored in syrup, becoming soft, flavorful, and naturally preserved without any artificial ingredients. During winter, these jars become small treasures. A spoonful of honey-soaked fruit can sweeten oatmeal, bread, or tea, offering both nourishment and comfort when fresh produce is long gone. It's a delicious example of how the Amish let nature do the hard work. No electricity, no chemicals, just pure, slow preservation. The result? Food that stays fresh, flavorful, and full of life. Proof that sometimes the sweetest solutions are also the smartest ones. 20. Storing food in ice houses. Long before refrigerators existed, the Amish had their own reliable way to keep food cold all year round: ice houses. These small buildings, often made of thick wood and packed with sawdust or straw for insulation, act like giant natural freezers. They're one of the Amish community's most brilliant food preservation secrets. In the coldest part of winter, when ponds and rivers freeze solid, Amish men cut huge blocks of ice, sometimes weighing over 100 pounds each. Using horses, sleds, and teamwork, they haul the ice back to their farms and stack it tightly inside the ice house. Each layer is covered with sawdust, which prevents melting and keeps the air inside cold and dry. Once sealed, these ice blocks can last deep into summer, even in sweltering heat. The Amish use this steady cold to keep milk, butter, cheese, and even fresh meat safe for months. Some families even store vegetables and fruits in insulated compartments near the ice, extending their shelf life naturally. What's incredible is how efficient this old method still is. No electricity, no noise, no chemicals, just nature, timing, and a bit of hard work. The ice house stands as a symbol of Amish ingenuity, using simple materials and cooperation to create something powerful. In a world that depends on modern technology to stay cool, the Amish remind us that with planning and respect for nature's cycles, you can preserve life's essentials, the old-fashioned, sustainable way. So there you have it, 20 Amish food preservation secrets that have outlasted every modern gadget and canned shortcut. From underground cellars to lime water eggs, to smoky meats and honey-preserved fruits, these time-tested methods prove one thing: nature still knows best. The Amish don't rely on machines or chemicals. They rely on patience, wisdom, and respect for what the land provides. Imagine having a pantry full of food that doesn't need electricity, stays fresh for months, and tastes better than store-bought goods. That's the beauty of the Amish way: practical, simple, and deeply sustainable. If you found these old-world secrets inspiring, give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who loves off-grid living or self-reliance. Comment below which Amish secret surprised you most. I'd love to read your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more hidden wisdom from the Amish world.